know, they give you pain points. Hey, this load is picking up late at night. Oh, I need about like $200 or $300. That's gonna mess up a clock. If it's picking up at 11 or 12 or dropping off at 11 or 12, I need a couple of hundred more dollars, man.
Passing through the wave like a jet ski. I'm just trying to live, little mama, don't text me. Watching from afar like a star, this the best seat. I'm just trying to win when I swim, this the best seat. I got them all uncomfortable though, they say I'm arrogant. I thought that I was...
What's up, people? Welcome back to Pro All TV Podcast. Today, I'm with my guy, CJ from H&C Express Logistics. CJ's in the dispatching world, and if you aren't following him on Instagram, make sure you go give him a follow because I went on there and the brother be putting out some jewels. So, CJ, jumping into it, man, tell us a little bit about H&C Express.
H&C Express is a dispatching company that I named after my kids. The H is for my daughter, Haley, and C is for my son, Carter, trying to leave them a legacy. And like I said, it's a dispatching company. We dispatch semi-trucks. We don't do hot shots and box trucks, but semi, that is dry van, reefer, and flatbeds, and power only. And soon I'm looking to move into renting trailers this year. So that's what H&C Express does.
Oh, okay, smooth. Trailer rental. I've been seeing that pop up a little bit. What were you doing before you got into the dispatch space? And, you know, how'd you get that jump into this area?
So before I was doing this, I was in construction, man, since I was like 18, 19. And I worked my way up to a project manager, was doing good there. But I always had a little itch to do something else. I had me a side hustle, which I was pulling cable on the side. So I was able to do that with me project managing. So all I had to do was get my guys ready, and I'll be in the office. Then I could go to my little side hustles and have those guys over there. So I was making good money. 2020 happened, and everybody knows that's COVID, and it shut my operation down. I was literally talking to my guys in 2019. Hey, I'm about to jump out here quick, man. And are you guys gonna rock with me? Are we in this together? Some younger guys, of course, and they was like, yes. And when COVID hit, I remember I was working in a building downtown by Lenox Mall, man, and they came in and literally kicked us out. And I still didn't finish that job to this day because I don't even know if they let anybody back on that floor. But that pretty much put my business to a halt. And I needed something that was recession proof. And that's what pretty much got me to start looking at dispatching.
Okay, so when you went through the dispatching route, did you kind of, do your own research, or did you take advantage? Because there's a lot of information out there now. So what route did you take?
Yeah, I always like to watch podcasts. I always watching the brother podcast, Sleepers for Suckers, David Shands, the Social Proof Network now. But he was interviewing a guy named Alex Good Energy, and his energy, his good energy, pretty much want to be over. And I had to go check his receipts because I just wasn't about to invest, the money for nothing. So I vetted the brother out. I went all the way back literally to 2015 and was looking at his comments and everything. And what sealed the deal was another motivational speaker that I listen to all the time, Eric Thomas. And Eric doesn't co-sign pretty much nobody. Well, he wasn't at that time. He's started to like co-sign people, but he really don't. If he say that he mess with somebody, I know it's serious. So that was pretty much the deciding factor to say, okay, let me go ahead and take this guy's course. And it was up from there, man.
Yeah, no, I know all of those guys, man. David Shands, Sleepers for Suckers. I follow them to this day. And when it comes to the podcast, like I'm looking at him, I'm watching him and Donnie. See, she started her own podcast. I know Alex, of course, from there, Truck and Hustle, and then ET, man. ET has gotten me through so much in life. And like you said, if ET co-signs, then ET ain't fooling with nobody who's lacking integrity, I say. So that's pretty solid, man. That's pretty solid. So when you got the course and knocked it out, what did the transition look like from the information you received to actually getting the company started?
So I was moving slow at first because I don't know, it was just me being lazy, but I was moving slow. But something that another guy I follow, I forgot he's a part of the Circle CEOs, Justin Owens, and he was saying if you're thinking about giving up, or if you're not doing it, you haven't invested enough. So that's what I started to do. I started to invest more money. I started to get my website, started to buy flyers, just it wasn't a lot of money, but I was investing. So I started to say, okay, I done spent this, I done brought the course, I got to do something. And that's what was actually motivating me. So I brought the course in January. I had my first driver in March, if I'm not mistaken. And she's still with me today, man. And it's crazy. I always wanted to have 5 drivers when I started, but I'm glad I always started with 1. And she's taught me so much. I taught her a lot, but she don't even know that she taught me like so much, man. Just put me on so much game because she's been out there in the road for a long time. And still to this day, she gives me game. And even new drivers that come with me, I ask her, I say, hey, the next load on me, I just need you to school this young guy and give him some game. And she's like, cool. And it's honestly like a whole family, man. We just, she's pretty much like my go-to. This guy doesn't know how to save gas. Can you talk to him in the trucker talk? And she was like, yeah, can you tell this guy, how to do this? And, she's my first drive to Jerry, man, it's like, hey, she's the best.
Rocking with you. She H&C Express to the core. Now that's what's up, because along with getting your carriers, you kind of have an extra benefit to them by having somebody who can come in and, help them in the areas that they're lacking and put that wisdom in that game. Because a lot of people just get a dispatcher, and when they come to you, they're getting a dispatcher and essentially a driver trainer. That's pretty solid. So when we talk of dispatch, and I get this question a lot, and you probably have too, the differences between a dispatcher and a broker. So if you had to break that down for the people listening, what would you say the difference is between a dispatcher and a broker?
So a broker is the guy who go get the freight from the shipper, and he pretty much sells it to us. So he'll go to the shipper, let's say if it's Nike, hey, I need these Air Jordan shipped from Atlanta to New Jersey, and we're going to pay you $2,000. So the broker, he puts it on the load board, and since he has to make some money, he might put it on there for $1,500, and he'll keep $500 for himself or whatever I may negotiate to go higher. And the dispatcher, me, I'm the guy that goes out and books that load, so I can go back to the carrier and tell him, hey, we got this load for $1,500 or $1,600, that we're gonna go from Atlanta to New Jersey. If that explains it.
Yeah. No. And I know me and you know that, but there are a lot of people who are looking to get in the industry, man, and they always ask, do I need a broker? And I'm like, you'll work with them, but you need a dispatcher if that's what you're looking for. So, honest plug, if you need a dispatcher, holla at my guy, CJ, over at H&C Express, because like I mentioned, man, and not just because we on a podcast, but I looked at your page and I noticed all the info you put out, and it's not, it's not basic, it's not basic info. It's like stuff I was looking at like, okay, like I'm learning on here. So when it comes to your page and your brand, what motivates you to, kind of share that type of info for free?
Man, because I was once that guy. I needed some knowledge. I needed, and nobody was giving it to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I first started, it's like, man, nope. I was going on YouTube and they just giving me a whole bunch of fluff. Like somebody just give me the game. And I was like, man, I'm going to tell everybody. I also, and I'm not trying to say this to like plug myself either, I have a mentorship, but my mentorship is like, it might be a call, maybe an hour long. I tell the drivers like, look, or the person that's doing the mentorship with me, like we going to be on this phone probably for 2 hours, 2.5 hours sometimes, because I love helping. I think, honestly, man, I actually, it's crazy that we heard that growing up, but it is better to give than to receive, you know what I'm saying? And I feel more joy doing that. That's a motivation to my kids, man. It's plenty times, bro, that you feel like giving up, and I'm pretty sure you've probably been there yourself, it's just like, you just don't want to get out of bed or anything, but you got to find a why, like Eric Thompson say. What's your why? You know, and it's my daughter plays travel baseball, my son plays baseball, or she plays softball, and it's plenty of times I got to motivate them. You know, like, yo, my daughter may go through a hitting slump, and I'm telling her, it's like, just keep hitting. Remember when you was 6 and you couldn't do this, but then at 7, it worked out. And I think about that, like, who am I to quit when I'm sitting up here telling my daughter certain things or my son certain things, and they have to look back at me. That's something I always heard growing up in church. It's like kids don't listen to you, but they see what you do. And that's what I always remember, man, is like, they look at me, man. They're looking at me. And that's something my baby mama always tell me is, you know, you don't think they paying attention, but they mention certain stuff, and it's like, wow, they are paying attention, and that motivates me to keep going.
Nah, yeah, I feel you. You were talking a little bit before about having those little ones and kind of how they put that motivation in extra gear. You could be self-motivated, but when you got those little ones looking at you, it makes you do, you know, go above and beyond. That's what's up. So if man, so I get asked if I do dispatch training, which I don't, but for people who are looking to get into dispatching, you know, what would you say type of personality traits or type of skill set they need to have in mind, at least, of cultivating before they approach this business?
Number one, great communication. And that's in any relationship, if you with a girl, with a dude, communication, you know, business, friendship, you got to be a good communicator, an effective communicator. Also be organized. You know, there's plenty of times that and people told me this in the beginning, and I've learned this, it helped me out being a project manager, is just saving stuff and organizing it on your computer. And each load that I save and each BOL I save, I put like it's TQL, and I put the date, you know, it'll be March the 13th, 2023, because I'm telling you, it's going to come a time that some broker's going to come back 6 months later, or your driver say something crazy, hey, and you it's just that one time that you didn't say what is going to bite you in the butt. So great communication, being organized, and not taking stuff seriously, man. It's business. Like Nino Brown said, it's business. It's nothing personal. You don't know what these drivers are going through. Somebody can be, their wife can be getting cheating on them. I'm sorry, brother, about all the noise in the background.
Oh, you good.
Let me turn that off. I'm sorry, man. I told you my son is playing, so my kid's mom is just giving me updates. He doing a good job. Let me say that.
That's good.
But
hey, go little man.
He was pitching today. But you don't know what those drivers are going through. You don't know if they get cussed out by the shipper. Like I said, problems at the house. Who knows? Money problems. The truck just broke down. And, you know, I'm not saying, you know, don't let them cuss you out, you know, but at the same time is something that I'm learning still to this day. And I had to do it actually last week. Just last week I had to do it because the driver went off on me. And I had to put the phone down, man, because, you know, you quick. What? You know, because it's in you. And I had to calm down, bro. And it took me, I didn't respond because he texted me like 3 o'clock. I didn't respond probably till like 5, man. Because me just growing up and even at my age, but just me getting a little older is, just don't respond. I don't want to lose that business or that relationship because, you know, and he didn't cuss me out and say nothing crazy, but he responded in a way that I didn't like it, just me being the man. I got in my feelings. So afterwards, I responded and pretty much, you know, we smoothed it over. So like I said, good communication, not taking stuff too serious. It's just business and being organized.
Yeah, no, I think what you're talking about there at the end, that emotional intelligence is big. And the older you get, the more you realize, you know, how you have to control yourself. Because I know what you mean. You could get riled up and got to put yourself in the CEO seat. And like you said, drivers be going through it. We have no idea. And for some reason, man, I don't like this, but a lot of shippers disrespect drivers like crazy. And forklift drivers and all that at the facilities be talking to them crazy. And so I could see why, they could be on edge sometimes. So by you extending that grace, man, that speaks to you as a business owner and keeping that good business relationship. So obviously that's one of the bad parts, having drivers get frustrated sometimes. Of course, brokers and shippers probably not acting right. What has your experience been with dealing with brokers and your negotiation tactics as far as trying to get your clients the best rates?
Well, I came into the game, I came in COVID. So we was living La Vida Loca, man. We was popping bottles and everything. And then last year, man, that's when it hit. It started going down. So I was taking it personal again. And I didn't understand what was happening. And I had to do research and start to see I had to start to see what was really going on. This actually what forced me to actually start really investing into my my company by doing research. But once I took my feelings out of it and saw that the brokers had a job and I had a job, I just got back to the basis of just, really have to negotiate. Cause back in COVID, you didn't have to negotiate. Hey man, can I get $4? Yeah, it is what it is. So now, when you got to negotiate, if somebody was saying you got $3 a mile, I was like, okay, you show me that this now in this market, then you get some. You get, but one thing that I like to do, a tip that I tell people that my mentees is like, soon as you get on the phone with them, they'll get on the phone, they'll say, hey, this is John with TQL. And I say, hey, John, I see you got this load from Chicago to Atlanta. That's still available? And he'll say, yeah. Soon as he say, yeah, or he might ask for my MC, when he gives me like a couple of seconds of breather room. Hey, John, how's your day going? Oh, my day's going good. How's your day going? Oh, man, that I'm telling you, that right there breaks the ice. And now we cool, we homeboys. What state you in, man? Oh, in Chicago? Oh, you ain't no Michael Jordan fan. I got out of the mode of talking like a robot. I'm not saying be all hood and ghetto or however you want to say it, but just, be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that has got to be so many, like an extra $200 or $400 on a lane, because now we cool. Like I said, hey man, it's whenever they saying, I'm saying it's raining. Oh, it's raining over here. It's snowing. Oh man, God, snow. And like I said, that's a great negotiating skill. Also, something that I still try to use. It really don't work as much now. If the load is heavy, they give you pain points. Hey, this load is picking up late at night. Oh, I need about like $200 or $300. My that's gonna mess up a clock. If it's picking up at 11 or 12 or dropping off at 11 or 12, I need a couple of $100 more, man. If it's 41,000 pounds, I need some more money. I'm making it seem like we going through pounds, we dead in 3,000 miles. They don't know, but that's what I'm doing to negotiate anything that I can do, man. But like I said, also with me, building rapport with the broker, that's the number one thing I would tell people is break that ice, man. Do not be a robot. Hey, can you give me, do not do that when you're talking to these brokers, man. And every now and then you may have somebody that hate their life, so that person
can't avoid that.
But 9 times out of 10, and if they say no, don't be on the phone talking to these brokers just begging like, what can you do? Feel the vibe. What no means no. If 1 or 2 no's, get off the phone and get to the next one. That's what I would tell people about negotiating. Yeah.
Yeah. Now what you say right there with the personality. So I've had a few interviews and then just talking to some people in trucking. It seems like the ones who get the best relationships with brokers and get consistent work or getting those direct lanes are people go in and kind of be real. It's like, hey, look, we both know why we're here. We both know I'm trying to get money and you trying to save money. And so going in and keeping that realness definitely is an edge I could see.
I say something that Alex Good Energy taught us still to this day, and I didn't believe it, is communication, man. It always goes back to communication. If you're communicating with your girl, your homeboy, just keep it real. Something like we're at the shipper, emailing them. We're loaded. We're at the receiver. We're empty. Thank you for your help. Even if they didn't help you, hey, thank you for your help. And if you like that lane, ask them, hey man, how often do you have this lane? When I tell you, you might not get a dedicated lane going both ways, but you definitely would get a dedicated one-way lane. I have so many dedicated one-way lanes in each state that I can always go to because I just communicated. Because you don't understand, people do not communicate. You calling your homeboy that owe you $20. What's the first thing you say? All he had to do is tell me he ain't had it. That's the same thing these folks want, man. Because at the end of the day, once they give you their load, they making, that's their money to go to, Hawaii or whatever. That money to pay for their wedding. So, if you're making sure that they get paid, they're going to love you, man. Also, having good equipment. You can't be out here in this game with 40 equipment owner operators and expect a dedicated lane. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you, if your truck breaks down a lot, who wants to work with you? I understand times are hard, but you got to understand it's like a lot of people try to get the money and they ball out, and I might hurt some feelings. They want to, do stuff for the kids because I got kids, I understand it, but sometimes you might have to, sacrifice. Hey, I'm gonna get you this week, but daddy got to put this money up for the business because in the long run, we really gonna ball out. So, because, you invested back in the business. So, like I said, is communicate and having good equipment, man, it would definitely get you a dedicated lane. I want to touch on that because you said about dedicated lane.
That's good info because that actually happened to us, man. We took a load. It was our first load with this carrier, and the truck had only done maybe 3 or 4 runs at this time, and we were running up to PA. So we got this load. It was solid coming back to Texas, and our truck broke. And this was our first time with this broker, and that broker was like, "This is how y'all on the first load. Y'all never see another load." I was like, it was like the DEF pump went out or something, and I was like, "This only." I'm trying to tell him, "Look, we just got the truck too." He's like, "Man, this is bad business. This is how you run your business." I was like, "Yeah, I got to take that L because he's right. I get it, for sure."
Bro, when I told you about my driver, one of my drivers, he's actually, it's the owner operator. She has a driver. I booked him a load for Monday, for the Monday that just passed. And I try to always book ahead. He tell us at 3:00 that he has an ultrasound with his wife. I understand. I got 2 kids. I understand. But he tell us at 3:00, bro, you should have, ultrasound just don't pop up. It's the stuff that you already knew, ahead. And that's why I had to pause because it's like I got kids. I don't want to, go off on him because he kind of said something first. But when I emailed the broker said it was with, I think, Redwood Logistics. They pretty much told us, like, we going to put you on do not work. They can no longer probably book with Redwood Logistics no more because, it was a 6 a.m. appointment on Monday morning. And I had to email him at 5 and tell him, like, hey, my driver is not going to get it. He's like, you emailing me at 5 this late, kid? I'm putting you on do not work. I'm like, wow, man. So no communication, man. And, bad equipment will make you not get these lanes, man.
Now, that's a good point what you say right there because although you are representing H&C Express, when you're talking to these brokers, you're representing these carriers companies. And so speak to how your representation as a dispatcher matters because in that situation, you're doing everything you can to make sure, you're communicating on both sides. However, this carrier is the one who dropped the ball. And as a result, their MC is now on this do not work with list. So how do you try to represent your carriers as a dispatcher?
I just always take stuff from what I learned back when I was project manager, and just try to be as professional as I can. I'm country, so I'm pretty sure they still hear it in my voice, but I'm still professional when I talk to them. And like I said, that communication, man, that's the number one thing that's going to beat everybody because it's something that small that I guess people don't do. And that represents them well. You know, also something that I do, a lot of my drivers, they send me over pictures of the BOL. I have an app on my phone called Genius Scan. I pretty much take that and turn it into a PDF and sends it over to the I send it over to the broker. Does that help? I don't know. But I feel instead of just sending a picture, me sending it as a PDF of the BOL, that's more professional and it's clearer because that's how you get paid. So sometimes they send me a picture and it might be, hey man, I know it. I know I be getting on my driver's nerves. I'm like, hey, you gotta take another picture, man. This is hard. Like I've had one driver take a picture 5 times and I had to stress to them, this is how you're going to get paid. If you don't want your money, it's cool. But I'ma still charge sick. But little things like that, how I try to present me and them as professionals.
Yeah, now that picture part, it's crazy. It's like, come on, bro. I sent examples to my drivers. Hey, this is how I need it. Showing all 4 corners, make it flat. You know what I'm saying? Rub it if you need to make it flat. Because I don't know what some of them guys was doing. It looked like they got the BOL and just balled it up. I said, come on, bro. I gave you folders and everything. Something I had to start doing too, I would have to I started taking pictures at the shipper and then at the receiver because sometimes driver don't care where they signing at. And so they'd be like, they signed in the carrier spot or they signed in the shipper spot and it's the receiver. And so I have to get both examples and say, well, here's what we picked up. These are the signatures on there we picked up. These are the drop-off signatures. And that helps sometimes. Also, if that picture is good, what you do, because if your guy lose it, now you he could rely on CJ, like CJ got me covered. So that's what's up, man. It sounds like you have a pretty good relationship with your drivers. What are some of the things you enjoy about being a dispatcher and being able to work and help these people thrive in the industry?
I enjoy the freedom. I've always had the freedom since like I said, once again, going back to be a project manager. So now I have more freedom just working from the house. I enjoy helping people, man. It's something when I get a new driver, just helping them. Let me say this too for dispatchers, something that I wasn't doing in the beginning and I still have to work on it, man. You got to have conversation with your drivers. At least I'm still trying to work on a conversation a day, but I at least try to have like 2 to 3 times a week. I give them like 30 minutes of my ear, instead of just, I finished, like I'm already this week, I'm booked for the whole week. I already booked all my drivers and not being arrogant, but I already did it. So instead of me just, going, eating, or going on dates or just chilling, I'm going to devote a couple of those, 30 minutes or an hour to just talking on the phone. Just, hey man, see LeBron, he's scoring chat. Do you think he'll go? You think Michael Jordan to go? Just talking. By the way, Michael Jordan's go. But anyways, just talking, just little points like that. You don't know how that just keeps your driver happy, because it's something that I learned when I was married, man, is when I used to come home, some of my dad used to tell me, like, boy, stop going upstairs and sitting in that room, go downstairs and talk to your wife. Because you get complacent when you get married. Something that's just coming and listening to your wife or your significant other, just letting her talk or talking to her for like 15, 30 minutes or an hour, you don't know how good that make your lady feel, yo. I'm telling you. And when he told me that, I was like, that don't work. I started to do it. I was like, man, that actually do work. So I take that even with the driver. It's like, that helps you because it's always another carrier, another dispatcher in their ear. And small stuff like that, hey, man, we built a bond over LeBron's, or I know one of my drivers, man, it took me a while to get close to this guy. Now I know he likes anime. I actually had to start, not had to, but I started looking at different stuff on anime. I asked my son some stuff because he likes anime. And now I'm able to have conversations with him. So for my new dispatchers or old dispatchers, please talk to your drivers, man. Because like I said, once again, we do not know what they're going through, and you just sometimes you can just listen to them vent, man. and And that will keep you in the game. I'm telling you. That's more, I will almost say that's right. Getting them quick loads is talking to them.
Yeah.
And asking how they did.
That makes sense. That makes sense thinking about it, because these drivers spend hours at a time. They, not settled too much on the road. So having somebody who could talk to, it's probably big for them. And then that being the person who's also looking out for them when it comes to making sure they running and things like that, that's a cherry on top for the relationship. For sure, I can see that working. Man, that's dope. So y'all out there listening, man, make sure you creating relationships with your drivers and add that to your toolbox of being a successful dispatcher. So we talked about having that new carrier. Now, when it comes to, we could go through the course, we could get the steps and start our company. Now, when we need to get those carriers, what type of tactics are you using to find new business?
The first thing I would tell anybody, be consistent. That beats anybody. And be consistent. That's first and foremost. And then I would tell people to go to Facebook. Join. When I say 80, I'm not just pulling out a random number out of the air. Join 80 Facebook groups. Go to Chicago. Type in Chicago Power Only. Add them. Chicago Drive-In. Add them. Chicago Flatbed. Add them. Chicago Owner Operator. Then go to Ohio, and do the same thing in each state. Atlanta. Then do, maybe do Lithia Springs. I don't know, but make sure you have at least 80. If you don't have 80, you're not doing nothing. And then post every other day. You cannot tell me if you post every other day, Monday and then Wednesday and then Friday, keep going on. If you do that for 2 to 3 months, you don't have a driver. You won't have it. I'm telling you will. Also, Indeed, you can post on there for free. Something that I would do that a lot of dispatchers are doing, all of us are posting the same thing. We got that professional flyer, no force dispatch. You got to have $100 million. Them drivers, everybody is saying, get straight to the point. Try something new. Hey, man. Something that I was doing, $5,000 to $8,000 a week, for Power Only Drive-In. Then I had $5,000 to $9,000 for reefer and flatbed. It's straight to the point, because I had the professional flyer, but it wasn't working because everybody's posting the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Try something different. Truck stops haven't worked for me. I'm not saying that. The reason I feel truck stops haven't worked because I didn't do it enough, and then too, I didn't try a different flyer. But I would say if you post on Facebook groups that every other day and you do it consistently, and I'm telling you, that's the difference between Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and the rest of these guys out here. They was in the gym. Kobe got in the gym and then he played with the regular guys. And after that, he played, he practiced afterwards. It's like, who's consistent, and that's who's going to get the owner operators out here.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of Kobe, LeBron, and those guys, you did say LeBron was the GOAT earlier, right? Or did I mishear you?
Yeah.
You said LeBron was the GOAT? No? Oh, my bad, man. My bad. I'm a new era, I guess. No, that's good info, man. That flyer thing you speak of, for sure, when you see all the little boxes and colors and a semi-truck over here in the corner, and this box, non-force dispatch, I just scroll because, like you said, everybody's doing it. Change up the color scheme, but it looks the exact same. It's like they're going to, somebody got a template out there somewhere that got us in a stronghold. But that's pretty solid. So when it's time to get these drivers, are you vetting them the same way? Because I know they asking questions. So do you ask them questions as well to see if they're a good fit for your business?
Yeah, I asked them the first question is, how much do you need? Now, how much do you want? How much do you need to make? And I asked them, are you OTR, and how old is your MC? And depending on those answers, I'm going to text you back. No, I'm joking. But if they tell me, hey, I'm $2,000 a week, I already know I can't work with you because that's unrealistic right now. It's not happening in this market. I'm sorry. Unless you got a reefer right now, maybe a reefer because it's about to be, I don't know, produce season, and flatbed can make that. But if you have a drive in and power only, it's not gonna happen, bro. I'm sorry. If it is, prove me wrong. Please, somebody teach me, because I pay you. I pay you $1,000 to teach me that. But that's the first one. And then if they have a new MC, I kind of ask them, depending on how much they want to make, and they have a new MC, then I'll say, okay, I can work with you. You have a new MC and you want to pay like 9, it's like, that's not happening. Because if you got a new MC, they're going to turn you down on everything. That's just, I don't care if you've been shipping for Pepsi for 20 years. Once you become an owner-operator, you're 0 years old. So, and those are the questions, when they're asking me, those are the things that I'm trying to see. Because I got to make sure you're realistic. That's something that that I was also taught that I didn't do when I first came into the game. I was just accepting everybody because once again, it was COVID. I could make you $12,000 a week. That was nothing during COVID, or $10,000. And I got away from what I learned. And when COVID hit, when COVID slowed down, like March of last year, June of last year, brother, I lost all my carriers. I had that one carrier, Jerry, that I told, that's the only person that stayed with me. I went down for 7 drivers, literally not all at once, but it was just dropping off. And if I would have told them early on or vetted them, excuse me, I'm sorry. If I would have vetted them properly in the beginning, then I would have, oh man. Now I'll start calling.
Nah, you good.
It's gonna keep.
Good. I'm good at editing. I'm good at editing. I got you.
I'm sorry. But if I would have vetted them properly and told them, hey, this is the base that you really can make, and remember that these rates are not going to be out here, I wouldn't have lost all the drivers. So now I don't want that headache, and I already learned my lesson from last year is be honest with them, man. And like I said, vet them like you asked me why they're vetting me by those 3 questions. What's your how much do you make? What's that? How old is your MC? And pretty much, do you want to be on the road every night? Because you got some guys also that want to be home every night and they want to make $10,000. That's not gonna happen too. I'm sorry. You need to go work for McDonald's.
No, that's fact. Some of the demands would be outrageous, and I'm like, I seen a lady, the carrier told her $15K a week, home on weekends, and not going past like Texas or something. He was based out of like North Carolina, and she was like, "How am I supposed to work with this?" And you know, that getting the carriers was a tough thing for her, and I had never been, although I did truck consulting because I had a carrier. I was the carrier. I didn't know really what to tell her as far as getting the carriers, you know, so that's really good info. And that is exactly why I want to do these, because different perspectives, and man, people like yourself dropping game like that. So people who are getting in, oh no, go ahead.
My bad. It's a guy, not to interrupt you. It's a guy that actually I just signed today. He's out of New Jersey. And with me texting him before I even made a phone call, he said he wanted to stay regional. He has a reefer. He wanted to stay regional around New Jersey. I said, how much do you want to make? He said $6,000 a week, 6+. And I'm like, he might can do that with a reefer. So I started looking. I said, let me give you a call tomorrow. Let me put some plays together and call some brokers, and I'll give you a call tomorrow too. And it was no way to make it, you know, with in New Jersey. I called them and I told them, it's like, I don't know how it would look next month, but if you was to start with me like today, we're not gonna make 6,000. Now I told him, I said, but if you want to go down to Atlanta, I see loads already from Atlanta to VA for 1,800, should I say, 1,800. And I told him, I'm an extra 22, so I can get you more. So I'm like, but you got to get out your comfort zone. And when I said that, he was like, oh, okay. He wasn't really unworried about staying up. But because I just started asking him and telling potential is like, look, what you're trying to do is not going to happen. It's like, I can show you, where the hot lanes, because that's what a dispatcher is. It's pretty much finding the hot lanes. I got a driver that lives in Colorado. it's nothing I can do to get this guy money. It's nothing. I don't care if I'm David Blaine. It's nothing you can do to make this guy money. He has to go out. You know what I'm saying? And you have to tell them that, hey, we can go over here. We can come back to Colorado and get $4,000. But coming out, we got $1.50 a mile. They don't want to hear that, but I didn't move to Colorado. If you stay in Florida,
Facts.
you're not getting nothing. So honestly, it's false to say that to the drivers. And that's what a lot of new dispatchers don't have, the balls. But me losing carriers, me getting cussed out a couple of times, and me just getting tired of being just sick of tired, I've started to say, hey, man, I just got to tell these guys the truth. And that stuff started to work.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's a good point. Keeping it real, because you could tell them something else, get them under your belt, and now you got frustrated drivers. Like, hey, CJ, you told me this, but no, here's what I told you. I could get you to Atlanta and we can make that, but we're not going to do it what you asking for. And that Colorado thing, dog, when I used to drive, I never realized it, when I first started going out there, but the truck stops are always full, and they full all day. And so that leads me to think, because nobody's getting no loads up out of there. We all waiting on dispatch.
Oh, you get some good money going?
Facts. I used to deadhead, I deadhead to Kansas sometimes. If it just was too long, just deadhead to Kansas and keep it moving. Now that's dope, man. So when you're planning these routes, you have to pay attention to road conditions, news, and stuff like that. How do you prepare for some of the routes that your drivers have to take?
Every morning, man, I wake up at 6 o'clock, turn on the news. While I work out, I run a mile every morning, come back. And once I'm about to get in the shower, I'm turning on the Weather Channel. And that's my routine, looking at the weather. Like Ohio and PA, I knew there was an ice storm up there pretty much earlier this week. So I knew I had to change it. I'm looking at the weather. I know so much about the weather, it's crazy, man. I didn't know it snowed in Texas, man. I'm like, why is it snowing in Texas? I was like, who did y'all piss off? But I'm like, I thought Texas was just lovely. But now that I'm a dispatcher, I be talking to people. I'm like, yeah, it's a blizzard up there. It was snowing in L.A. Why do I know that? Because I'm a dispatcher. You have to know that, because it's your money, man. And once again, I go back to the drivers. And you have to tell them, once again, you got to communicate. Because if you made 7,500 last week, they're going to want to make 7,500 again the next week. But if your lane was Ohio, PA, you have to tell them early. Hey, it's a blizzard pretty much in PA and Ohio. Just letting you know. If y'all want to go up there, I send you up there. But if not, we got to stay down in the South, and we probably only going to make 5,000 this week. Let them know, because you put the ball in their court, because they're going to say, I don't want to go to the snow. It's like, all right, I'm just letting you know, the South sucks. So communication. So that's what I do, man. But I look at in advance, man. I know when it's raining, everything, man.
No, it sounds like that. It sounds like everything comes back to communication. You want to be a successful dispatcher, number one, have the balls to tell the truth of what you can or can't do, and which goes into communication. Number two, be consistent with putting those flyers out there, getting on, not the template flyers, get you something different. Get on those Facebook groups and make sure you get 80. CJ say you better get 80. If you ain't got 80, then you ain't doing it.
Ain't doing it.
Nah, this is good, man. This is good. So we wrapping up, but for my carriers out there, what have been some of the roadblocks you've seen them have with getting booked for freight?
Not having inspection with, first of all, new MC, not having your inspections. There's no reason that you shouldn't have a DOT inspection and you've been in the game for a year. You're being cheap. Because the only reason you don't have it is because something is faulty with your truck, and you don't want to, go get a real inspection. And I'm not talking about Uncle Joe's Bob inspection. You need to get a DOT inspection.
CJ, say that again. So you saying they need to go get those roadside inspections from like the state troopers.
Go to the scale house and get a DOT inspector to give you an inspection, and it'll go on your record. So actual logistics, people like Pepsi, the big boys who you have to have like a year in the game to book the loads with, you have to have inspection. And it's just not like, Billy Joe Bob inspection, not the regular rinky dink, and nothing against them, but those inspections don't count. You have to have the DOT inspection because they don't know if you safe, And like I said, like, okay, you been a year in the game? I'm not giving you this load. And I will be on the load board and I see TQL, they'll have a load for 1,000 and Actual Logistics, I have one for 1,500, but I can't book with them because you don't have an inspection. So I got to go to TQL and get the lower load. And that has nothing to do with your dispatcher. That has something to do with the carrier. I understand times are tight. So if you can't, I understand it. But if you can and you out there balling like Diddy, then that's on you. You're not investing back into your company. Also, you shouldn't be a power only for that long. Once again, investing back in your company. I'm not trying to count nobody's pockets because I don't know what's going on. But if you can afford to get a trailer or rent a trailer, you should be trying to do that. Because I know me, I can make you an extra $1,000 to $1,500 a week by getting a trailer. To rent a trailer is like $200 or $250 a week, and I'm getting you an extra $1,000. Be worth it, So as far as me, I don't know your other dispatchers, but if you got a power only, everybody know power only pays the least. As far as the semi trucks, I'll find you a loadout trailer, but we only can hold that thing for like 7 to 10 days. So inspections, not having a trailer, and no good communication, not having good communication will keep you from not getting good loads, man.
No, that's facts. That's facts. That loadout thing you talked about, I had a guy, I needed to move this truck. He only did drive in. And so we started working with, I want to say JB Hunt, but it was all loadouts. And so we was trying to max. The thing is, JB Hunt wasn't even checking if we was turning the trailer back in. So if you work for JB Hunt, my bad. We was keeping them things for about 3 weeks. But loadout, explain loadout to us, because that was something I did not know for a long time.
Yeah, man. Loadout, I got power only drivers making like 68 to 75 a week, man. Not consistently, but like they range in that area. If we on that week that we get to keep it for 7 days, then the next week you have to turn it in. But I done mastered power only now, man. I used to hate it, but now I'm the power only whisperer.
You got it on. So explain that loadout to us, because that was something I didn't know what it meant for a long time. So what is loadout?
So a loadout is a trailer that they are allowing you to use for 7 to 10 days. And let's say the trailer in Atlanta, you pick the trailer up in Atlanta, and they tell you, hey, you can use this for 10 days, but you got to drop it off in Chicago. So in Atlanta, you just booking drop-in loads now. Or if you get a reefer, whatever type of trailer you get, that's what type of loads you're able to book now. And on that 8th or 9th day, you need to, well, not 9th day, on the 8th day, you need to start routing your way back up to Chicago, because you got to be on time, or at least you can be like a day or two late. I shouldn't probably tell people that, but they don't, people been in the game for a while, they don't trip that bad. They're kind of, if you tell them, if you got a good excuse, they'll kind of excuse you. But I'm giving people bad things to do. Just in case. But pretty much like I said, they just allowing you to borrow the trailer for 7 to 10 days. Normally they do not pay you, so don't expect to get paid because you're making trailer. Sometimes you get paid. I think the most I ever got paid was like $500. If you do get a loadout trailer, do not get a loadout trailer that's going all the way to the west side, like Utah or Oregon, and do not get a loadout trailer that's going to Laredo. It would take you so long to get out of Laredo, Texas. Another thing, one more thing about a loadout trailer: do not book a reefer with no unit. Reefer with no unit, and roll door trailers. It is so hard to book loads with roll door trailers because the height is the height. The height pretty much it goes lower pretty much because once the door rolls up, you lose height. So roll door trailers and reefers with no unit. That means that it's a reefer, but they took the unit out and now they made it like a dry van. But the width of it is still the same as a reefer, so you can't book all dry loads. You only can get like loads like Pepsi or Gatorade. So those those loadout trailers, try to stay away from those. Like I would rather you did hit 500 miles to book a roll door trailer. Please don't book a roll door trailer.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So definitely pay attention. If you're getting those loadouts, pay attention to what you're getting and ask those questions. Well, all right, man. So we coming to the close. For my people who are looking to get into dispatch, what type of, investment, what equipment do they need and to get going?
All the equipment that you need, you probably already have. You need internet, a laptop, and a cell phone. And to make it official, you just, got to have the LLC. I live in Atlanta, so that was just $100. The dashboard, that's what pretty much I spend the most on, because that's $180. But that's $180 because I want the top level. I know some people that have the $35 version, so you don't even have to spend that much. So, like I said, if you got a laptop and internet, which you already have, I know some people that book loads off their phone, so you can book it off your phone. And that's really all you need. And just hustle. Before anything, consistency and hustle, man. That's the first thing, because if you don't have that, don't even start. I don't even want to discourage nobody, but that's in anything. If you're trying to be a hairdresser, if you're going to be in real estate, if you don't have the consistency to keep going and the hustle, you might as well just stay at McDonald's, wherever you're working at.
No, big facts. Big facts. Man, this was good, man. And again, my apologies for not pressing record, but we still got a great episode in, man. And I'm gonna keep supporting you. And I'll send people who come my way who looking for dispatching to you, and we'll stay locked in, brother. But I appreciate your time, appreciate you checking in with us and sharing the game. And so if y'all aren't already, make sure you go follow H&C, and is spelled out. So H&C Express. That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so follow H&C Express on Instagram, because the same game you dropping here, you dropping on there for sure. And I appreciate you, CJ, man. Anything I can do to return the favor, don't hesitate to reach out.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for inviting me on your platform so I can add value, man.
Yes, sir. That's what it's about. All right, dog. I'll be in touch, man. I'm gonna get this edited and we're gonna get this out.
Uh-huh.
All right. Peace.